Our next speaker is Keith Badger. Coach Badger just completed his 5th year as head coach at New Richmond. He played college football at St. Thomas. His team's been a playoff qualifier the last 4 seasons, including a level 3 appearance in 2016 and a level 4 appearance in 2015. I know we matched up with them on Alaska 2 years ago in the playoffs and have a great program, do a lot of great things. So, Coach, take it away.
Thank you. First, thanks to Alaska for hosting this and having us down. I've always really appreciated high school coaching clinics because I've always learned the most from high school coaches. I think we're going to go to the big ones where everybody's there. I think they're really valuable as well. But being in the room with high school coaches is always most applicable to the things that we're doing. So I think I'll echo what Dan said from Cedar Grove, Belgium, and that take what you would like out of this. We've all obviously made the decision to sit in here and listen to what I have to say. So I hope you find something valuable. But if there's anything that we can share with you or help out with, even if it's something we're not talking about today, we'd certainly be willing to do that. And, I think I would also echo Labuda's comments in that I think it's a time where we all need to be on the same page in terms of promoting football and getting kids out for football and attracting them to our game. So that's my what I'll start with. I also think that there should be a strict no Labuda policy before lunch because it's tremendously difficult to follow him and what he has to say. So I'm still fired up after listening to him. So I'll do my best to follow what he has to say, and hopefully something can come out of this. First I'd like to just, like I said, I've been just wrapped up my 5th season in Richmond. Before that I was over in the cities. I was over at Park Cottage Grove for 2 years, and then I was up at Tartan and Oakdale for a year before that. As an assistant both places. So in Richmond was my first job as a head football coach. I got the job when I was 26 and I had no idea what I was doing. Most of the days now I don't know what I'm doing still, but I think we're getting a little better every single year in what we're doing. The most significant thing for me has been my staff, and we've been together for this will be our 3rd season together, and having those guys together with me has made a huge difference because everything that I'm not great at, I can lean on them, and they pick up for what I lack in. So here's how I'd like to do this. I'd like to just briefly give you an overview of our program and things that we do and things that we feel are that we do well, and then we'll do a quick overview of the offense, and then we'll dive into boot, and hopefully at the end I'll just sit down and we'll just watch clips of the film that I brought, and we can go from there. So real quickly, whenever I have a chance to talk about Richmond football, this is the image that I show. And if I could describe Richmond football in one image, this is the image that I would use. It's an image that took a long time to put together, and I know it seems really simple. It's just a PowerPoint slide with circles and text boxes and all that stuff. But when I talk to our team, when I talk to our coaches, this is always an image that we use, and this is an image that sort of guides our thinking and everything that we're doing. But I think the big thing, it's really nice and cute to make something like this, but it's the application of this image that I think is unique, and I think it helps us stay focused on what we like to stay focused on. So very quickly, I'll go through this, and then we'll move on. We teach an 8-week leadership course in the spring. We've done it in the summer as well, but it's just it's for our captains. If you want to be a captain, you have to come to this session. But we usually get about 15 to 20. Last year we had about 30 guys that just came in and just wanted to know more about being a leader and what it means to be a leader. And this is an image that we show, and we kind of go through the image throughout the 8-week leadership course and use different lessons and things like that to describe our football program and what we expect of our kids. So the bottom layer is what we call the blueprint, and that's something that we don't think will ever change. Whenever somebody comes in, a new player or a new coach or whomever it is, we start with that. Okay, so know yourself to us means know who you are, know who you're not, and be the same you all the time. I think that in everything that our kids get and do, there's a lot of inconsistencies in their lives. And I know that there's a philosophy out there that you should be as unpredictable as possible. And when a kid comes to you, they should not know who you're going to be that day. And you should, that keeps them on their toes. They should always be doing their best. And I think what I found in the short time that I've had the opportunity to be a head football coach is they like the consistency because they know what they're going to get. and they know that when they approach me with something, I want to be the same person every single time. And I think that our leaders on the team are the same way. So when our leaders complete this course, hopefully they can say who they are, what are their core values, who are they not, what are their weaknesses, and then what makes them consistent throughout the season. Know your team is about inspiring passionate hearts, it's about relationships. What we tell our leaders is, we need you to be able to lead in a way and connect with others in a way to allow them to be successful in a way they could not have had you not been a part of their lives. So when a kid wants to be a leader on the team, it's very easy to relate with the people that you get along with. It's very easy to be friends with the guys you've been friends with your whole life, but it's very difficult to connect with somebody who's not like you and looks different than you and grew up in a different part of town than you. So our leaders really need to be people that build relationships and allow people to be successful in ways they could not have had they not had that person a part of their lives. Attitude and effort, certainly not indigenous to our program. I'm sure many of you use that, those core values as well. Nor are the definitions indigenous to our program. They're words and definitions that we've kind of adopted, but I think the application of the two are things that maybe make us unique. So attitude to us would be defined as not allowing circumstances to dictate your feelings or behaviors. What we tell our kids is, there's the event, and then there's what you tell yourself about the event. And so we say, and we use it in football terms, of course, I threw a pick, that's the event, and it was bad. That's what I told myself about the event. And so if we can get kids to frame adversity in a different way and look at conflict in a different way, I think once they leave our football program, they are able to deal with adversity in a more productive way. So also important, at the beginning of the season, our kids get to pick for their helmet. Right in between, and some people put their team name, Tigers or whatever their team name is, in between their helmets. Our kids get to choose between attitude and effort. And so it's a literal representation of what is important to them, but we also want somebody to see across the field from them what their core value. So it's a way for them to express themselves a little bit and be unique, but within the parameters of our football program. Okay? Effort to us is evidence. It's relentless evidence that what you're doing matters to you. A couple of years ago, we invested in buying a drone for our practices, and so we're down in this little bowl where we practice. It's not a very good place to get end zone camera film, so we bought a drone, and we have this little kid that flies a drone around all practice, and we tell him what we want him to see, and it's pretty neat. But what I tell him is, at certain times, I want you to just let the film run, and I want to see the transitions, and I want to see kids running off the field and on the field, and I want to see them change drills or move to different places on the field, and that's the film that we'll spend a little bit of time on the next day. So we will evaluate some of the effort things, some of the things that the guys are doing on the field, and we'll allow them to just kind of see themselves on the field and what they're doing and assess their effort, because those are the things that are most important to us. The next step up, process, the way, the vision. Process is just, the way that we do things is unique to us, and everybody's got a different process, and it's important for you as a player to buy into what we're doing, because we think that it works. Okay, the way is the way that we do things, and it's unique to us, as I said. And when you're a part of our program, there are certain things that will be unlike other places that you go. So the process, the way, the vision, that's what we hope you see every single day. I wrote off to the side some notes on vision because I think it's the most important thing. This last year, the image that's in the center, I went to a graphic artist in town. He's got a picture guy, he takes your team pictures, and he does some graphic design on the side. And I said, I want you to like literally make my vision. I want you to, so that I can show our team. Okay. And so what I did is, I took just an image offline. I'm sure it's copyrighted, so let's keep it between us. But I said, I'm going to describe my vision to you, and I need you to bring it to life, okay, so that I can show our team, and so that I can have a way to express what it is and the place I want to go. Okay, so I had him change all the fans to orange. In my mind, there's 80,000 people at the state championship game, and they're all wearing orange. Okay, I had him take one of the teams and make it orange, and then the opponent just kind of gray it out, because I don't care who we're playing. All right, just make them black and white, and leave the color out of them, because it doesn't matter to us. I always say to the kids, I say, and I'll read the notes in a second, but it has to be a sensory experience when you describe your vision. Okay? I always say to them, I can tell you what the temperature is at kickoff. I can tell you what the brats smell like as they cook. During the football game. I can tell you where the sun is. I can tell you everything about that experience. And I need you to find a way to buy into that vision, be a part of that vision. Okay? The movie, I communicate a lot through movie lines with them, and it's pretty effective. But the movie we use for that one is Inception. If you've seen Inception, you know that whole thing is about just creating an idea and planting it in someone's mind, and then letting them take that idea and form it into their own. And I think that's what vision is. And I think that's what teaching people how to buy into a vision is. And so when we talk about vision, we talk about that movie Inception. And so this is my attempt at planting that seed in them and saying, how can you see yourself as a part of my vision? Because that's mine, you can't have it. But what can you do to be a part of that vision? You need to make it your own, okay? And then the overarching theme, break the elephant rope. There's a story that goes with it. I won't share it, but it's the idea of it is it's our refusal to believe that the limitations imposed on us by others limit our potential as individuals. So, and the example I use is when I started, and I'll show you this. Excuse my voice. When I started, we were coming. This is a kind of a recent history in the Richmond football. And in no way is, the last 5 years, that's certainly not the best in the state. But the point in showing this is that we found something that works. We believe in what we're doing. And we've come a really long way in what we're doing. And so the idea, I remember standing in front of our team in 2014, right before we played River Falls. And we had been beaten by them and just about everybody that we played for the last 14 years, and we said, you know what, we're just not going to be limited by that idea that we're not good enough anymore. And so, we went out and won that game and won a lot after that, but the idea was that, don't tell me what I can or cannot accomplish. Let me show you. Let me show you what I can do. Let me show you through my hard work that I'm better than what you think. Okay, and for a very long time in Richmond, there's been a belief that we're just not good enough. We're 43 and 96, and I think if you take that year out, 2010, where we had a 9-3 season, I think that's an outlier if you look at the rest of the records up there. If you take that out, we had 34 wins in 14 years. So when we walked in 2013, we had a lot of people that didn't think we could do anything, and they were expecting a similar result. So that overarching theme of our program is just about, don't you keep that opinion to yourself, because what we're going to do is different, and we don't believe that, okay? And so I shared this with our team this last year as we entered the playoffs. We've won 35-5. Is that the best in the state? No. We have a long way to go. Yes. That's like literally half of what Kimberly's done. But let's not go there right now because this is about us. Okay. But that's impressive to us, and we've certainly the status quo has changed for us, and now we're looking for the next step and where we're going to go. But as I said, I think it's for us in our program. It's just about there's limitations placed on all of us, and forget it. We're just not going to believe it. Okay.